Gentleman Jim McFarland with you once again. And now I'm going to tell you about the journey of my first real job, and that was at R.H. Macy's in White Plains. I get up to Macy's on time. You know, I check into the employment area, and then I go to the Tailor shop. Well, that store only had 2 floors, the first and the second. Tailor shop was on the second floor, unlike the one downtown. So I get there, I introduce myself to Tom. They knew who I was because I know that Mr. San Pedro had told them it's a brother coming up here. So they knew who I was, and when I walked into the tailor shop, they had a little bench seating, little square table with all the little threads and everything towards the front of the tailor shop. My area was in the back of the tailor shop. Now, I got my training downtown on what I had to do. I had to work on pants. I had to alter the pants, taking the waist, seat, crotch, and hem them. That's all I was to do. So that's all they trained me to do downtown, because that was the position that they needed. They needed somebody to alter the pants, and I had learned that well downtown. I asked him about coach. He said, well, right now we just need you in that area. He said, maybe they'll teach you something up there. How wrong they were. So at any rate, I started doing my job. Now in those days, Macy's sold pants that always had, they sold a suit, most all of them had 2 pair of pants. So for every jacket that they had to fix, there was 2 pair of pants to it. So if they sold 25 suits in the course of a day or the course of whenever, there were 50 pair of pants. Now, there's 4 tailors doing just jackets. They had, Mr. Henry was struggling doing the pants, but that wasn't his forte. He would struggle to do them. But he managed to get through them. That's why they needed help, because they still had all these jackets to do. So now I'm taking over that part. He's going back to the jackets. So like I say, for every suit they sold, they had 2 pair of pants. But they had 4 guys doing jackets. 1 person doing pants. That was wow. Okay, fine, because I'm fast now. See, that factory got me on target of how to work fast. So in the course of a day, they had the 4 of them on jackets and me on pants. Well, heck, I'm zipped through those pants and everything, and I'm through in 5 hours. In the course of an 8-hour day, I had 5 hours. I'm just killing time now. So I would go up to them and I'd ask them, well, can you show me how to shorten sleeves or take in the sides or do a collar job? And they said, no, we're too busy. So it meant that I would go back to my sewing machine. Mind you, now they're in the front of the tailor shop. I'm in the back of the tailor shop. And I don't know, it was probably 20, 25 feet away. But it's the back of the tailor shop, and the pressing machine was back there. So after I do my work and press the pants, I really don't have anything else to do until they sell something else. Now, they sold on a consistent base, but they only scheduled it according to their due date. Right? So if they had it, if it was due date on this day, Tom would pull out so many suits, pull out so many pants, and give me the pants, and the 4 of them worked on coats. So I figured, well, heck, if I can finish my work that fast, I can help you guys do the coats. No, they didn't want that. Because now I'm in their territory. Now this is the real tailoring is on the coats. But it was okay with me. I'm making $68 a week. Now, got so that, mind you, not only did they sell the suits, they sold a lot of pants. So I'm really not just doing for the coats, I'm doing all those extra pants too, but I'm still getting it done in no time. And I'm begging them to show me how to do something else, and they always had an excuse. It's okay. So then it got to the point where they got tired of me sitting around doing nothing. So Tom comes to me. Now I'm watching what they're doing, but I ain't on top of them, but I can see. So now I get there and I start looking at what they're doing. So Tom comes to me and said, well, Jim, being that you get your work done so fast, you could help us out. This is the way he approached me, by pressing the jobs that we do, and then we could kind of stay on top of everything. Fine, I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm bored because I didn't zip through my work and I'm bored. I could get up at any given time, walk out to Tailor shop. I walk around the store, but how many times can you go around a small store? That was a small store compared to the Harold Square store. How many times are you going to walk around? What are you going to do? But mind you now, I'm going to work sharp every day. And then the people there start wondering, well, who is this brother walking around with a suit and a tie on? Because see, they didn't have any black supervisors, or flowers is what they call. A certain position, they had a white flower. That was like a head supervisor. And then they had a red flower, and he was like an area guy. But you could identify who was in charge by the flower that they wore. Now outside of that, there were no brothers or no sisters with no dresses on, no suits on. They all had a little smock jacket with their name up here. You knew they were either stock people, the cleaning people, the shippers, the packers. That's all the black people's job was. Now, they had an elevator, even though it wasn't but 2 stories, they still had an elevator for disabled people and whatnot, and we ran an elevator. Now that was the extent of black people working at Macy's in 1962. Even the Harold Square store. I think one time I thought that I had saw a brother with a red flower on, which meant he was a union rep. But he didn't have no white flower, not then. And once again, the only blacks they had working in Macy's, 1962, were the ones who did the little trivial little jobs. They weren't sales associates, they weren't the accountant, they didn't work in the office, they didn't do any of the above. But yet they worked for Macy's. And you got your little Macy's discount. And the pay for Macy's did pay a little better than other places, but it still wasn't that. So this went on, and I worked it, and then came up for my first pay raise, $5. Wow, because mind you, I'm working overtime. At that time, the store was open every night, so I'd work maybe a couple hours each night, because mind you, I still had to take that bus and get back home, and that's a 2-hour journey. So if I got off at 6, and I worked 2 hours overtime because they closed at 9, that would give me time to get that bus, because once again, the last bus left out at like 8:15. So I had to get clocked out and get to that bus stop, otherwise there was no bus. That was it for the night. So I made sure, and I worked everything just right. So I get 2 hours a couple of nights a week, and then I'd work all day Saturday, I get 8 hours. So I have about 12 hours worth of overtime that I was getting, and this went on for almost a year that I took all this overtime. Why? Now all of a sudden, my little $68 that soon became $72, $73, was starting to add up. Now, I'm going home, mind you, with $100 a week. I said, I'm a kid. My mama didn't make but $60 a week, period. I'm going home with $100. But that's when I found out the Tailors were making $105. Now they didn't care about overtime. They were fine. They worked a little overtime every now and then, but they didn't really care. But to me, I'm living large. At that age, in those days, making that kind of money, boy, I'm here to tell you, life was good and very good. So I lived it, and I worked it, and I dealt with it. Then it got to the point to where I was seasoned. Well, I had worked a whole year now. And I started asking them for a bigger raise than what they anticipated giving me, because I wanted what they were making. And because I wasn't getting what they were making, I didn't feel that was fair, because I'm really doing physically more work than the 4 of them. And they kept giving me the same old excuse. Well, when you put your time in, then you could get up there. And I kept giving them the same old answer. What's time got to do with it? If I can do the job, pay me like you pay the rest of them. I'd call downtown, because remember, I got connections, and I got Mr. Santa Pedro, who is the head man out of everybody. He's head of everybody. But he kept telling me this. He said the only way I could get a raise outside of the annual, quarterly, whatever raises that there were that come automatically, Tom had to recommend it. And Tom was the supervisor up there. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that at all. He preferred that I just stay where I was and be happy. And he used to always tell me, well, you're getting all this overtime. Yeah, but I'm doing all that extra work too. I said to myself, now this isn't fair, but I'm going to stick it out and I'm going to do it. I'm going to deal with it. So I did. So the story goes on. But Gentleman Jim's going to stop now, because I want you to kind of understand what I was going through step by step by step. But I thank Macy's because they gave me my start. They really did. They put me in the framework where I really wanted to be. And you'll learn more about that the next time we talk, because it gets interesting the further I go into it. So once again, Gentleman Jim the Tailor here. Also